The original character name was called The Boy with Tape on His Face, which was I performed under that name for a number of years. And it was actually right before going on to America's Got Talent, they asked me what was the name of the act. And I wanted the name to be very international, so a nice
Hmm.
short, sweet name. So we just started calling the show Tape Face. And also, a lot of my friends called me Tape Face anyway. It was a bit of a nickname for me. They just go, "Hey, Tape Face, come over here, come check this out," or whatever. And so I just got used to being called that name. And so we thought that will be the name that sticks. Hi, you're watching an exclusive interview on Milchi Plus.
Hi, this is Samina Shaikh here, and with me today I have a very renowned comedian known as Tapeface. Welcoming him on Mirchi Plus.
Hello.
So he's the first one to introduce silent comedy, and I would like to know from him what is silent comedy all about. And we have seen, comedy in different, ways. But what is silent comedy? How did you come with this term, and how did you introduce it?
For me personally, silent comedy came about because I used to do another show where I talked too much. And so I decided to challenge myself and develop a show which had no talking in it whatsoever. And also, again, silent comedy, everyone thinks of Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and back in the day, that sort of thing. And there hasn't been that many modern silent comedians. Marcel Marceau would be the closest to the most recent mime sort of style. But for me, I never refer to myself as a mime. I'm more of a clown stand-up comedian. That'd be my combination.
But where did you come up with this, with this unique concept called, silent comedy? How did it start off for you? How did your journey start off with this?
Originally, it was just a joke. It was a little 5-minute joke to prove a point that I could shut up because I talked a lot in real life. So it was a chance to prove to my friends that I could be quiet on stage and still entertain an audience. So the challenge for me was to go, how can I do this by being a silent comedian?
Also, if you could recollect certain performances of yours which have been very memorable for you, and that's been if you could elaborate something on that, on those lines.
There was one show that I did where I blindfolded a guy at the end of the show, and I'm standing next to him, and he's blindfolded, and the audience are all kind of laughing. And then he very quietly whispered to me, "Are you going to set me on fire?"
Hmm.
And I laughed a lot because he genuinely thought I was going to set him on fire in front of an audience of people, which was ridiculous. Then there was another show in Glasgow in Scotland where I have a routine where I dress a guy up in overalls, a shirt, and a high vis vest and a hard hat. And then we play Tom Jones, You Can Leave Your Hat On, and he has to strip. He has to take off his costume of sorts. And so he did that, and then he started taking off his own clothes, which was very entertaining for everybody.
I'm sure, and you have been an entertainer for that matter. But also, how do you come up with skits and routines for your shows? What thought process do you put in, while talking about while preparing for your shows actually?
I listen to a lot of music. So I listen to a lot of music from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And that sort of can spark a lot of ideas for jokes and sort of because the music then was very, straightforward and simple and good, catchy tunes. So I use that to spark ideas. And then the other times I can get ideas from props, just various, if I find a feather duster or if I find a ladder, I can just muck around with that and use my imagination. I find with the show, the main thing for me is your imagination. I believe that your imagination is like a muscle that you have to exercise on a daily basis to keep it working out and keep it fresh. And a lot of people forget that when they become adults. And so for me, I'm a pretty immature, childlike kind of person.
What's been your favorite music for that matter?
Oh, for when? For doing shows?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the bits of music in between the songs. So a lot of the background French music, and I dig deep into some weird sounding, just odd music that suits the character. I think of the character also being a bit like a Tim Burton drawing. So there's that weird, hence the makeup and the hair and the weird costume and the black and white stripes. So it's a very monochrome kind of style. And so that I find music to suit the character. That's the stuff I really like.
Have you come across Indian music for that matter? Have you heard Bollywood songs or Indian music for that matter?
Yes. I have heard Bollywood songs before and seen Bollywood films before, and but I find it to be tricky for me to integrate that into a show.
And have you come across Indian stand-up comedian for that matter, or the kind of comedy shows they have been doing over here, presenting over here?
I
Those
haven't. I
actors,
haven't. I haven't watched a lot of comedy. I don't tend to watch a lot of comedy myself because I do my own shows, and then when I have my downtime, I want to chill out. So I don't tend to watch comedians or other performers that much. So I
Hmm.
tend to, yeah, I do my own thing.
What do you think connects with the audience the most when it comes to your work?
Um, the play, the idea of playing. Like when you're a kid, you can play for hours with just stuff in your room. Whereas as you grow up, you forget how to do that. And so I
Hmm.
think the idea is to remind adults what it's like to be a kid again and just get up on stage and do something silly and but not look silly. That's the key thing is to not embarrass an audience member, but to celebrate them being on stage and then they become the hero.
Hmm. That's nice. That's nice. And tell me something about your upcoming projects you're working on. What is keeping you busy these days?
I'm writing a new show at the moment, so I've just discovered a pogo stick that I really like. So this pogo stick, you can bounce about 11 feet in the air. So I'm going to get one of those and see what happens.
You gained a lot of popularity when you were on America's Got Talent show. And would you prefer going back over there and performing again once again for the audience out there?
No, not really. I sort of got what I wanted out of that TV show, which was just the exposure. So for me, it was a chance to get my act seen by the world. And because all of their videos that they were posting would go viral. So I knew that millions of people were getting a chance to see my work. And then more people wanted to know about the character and where they could see the shows.
While your real name is not Tape Face, why did you choose this as your identity? Why you changed from Sam Williams to Tape Face? What is the reason behind it?
The original character name was called The Boy with Tape on His Face, which was I performed under that name for a number of years. And it was actually right before going on to America's Got Talent, they asked me what was the name of the act. And I wanted the name to be very international, so a nice
Hmm.
short, sweet name. So we just started calling the show Tape Face. And also, a lot of my friends called me Tape Face anyway. It was a bit of a nickname for me. They just go, "Hey, Tape Face, come over here, come check this out," or whatever. And so I just got used to being called that name. And so we thought that will be the name that sticks.
This question does pop up in my mind a lot of times, and I feel like asking if comedians are too much into comedy, do they really find sense of humor in someone else's sense of humor? Do you find that humor when you see someone else's sense of humor, or
Do
do
I
you
find
feel as in, like, for example, like I would say that when comedians are too much into trying to create sense of humor and having good sense of humor, or trying to
Mhm.
comic scenes for that matter, do they really find sense of humor in reality for themselves?
I think so. I think you have to be able to laugh at the world. If you don't laugh, you're going to kill yourself. I mean, it's a pretty funny situation. I think sometimes also comedians are really good because they reflect the real world in a funny way, where it gives you a chance to think about what's going on, but you can laugh at it rather than get bogged down by it all.
When are you planning to come to India? We want to see you over here as well.
I want to see more. Yeah,
Of
I'd
course,
love to.
why
Like,
not?
anytime. I'll be happy to come over here and do more shows.
And as I let you go, and I'm quite happy with the kind of conversation I've had it with you. If you had to make me laugh in silent comedy, what could you do which can make me laugh? I'm smiling right now, but what can you do where I can laugh?
How's that?
You just disappeared.
It's
You
magic.
just disappeared. And I know that you're a magician. You started off your career. So if you had to do one magic which is something very special to you, what is that? If you had to do. Okay.
How's
Okay, that's
that?
great. I must say that, of course, I really adore the way you have been. And if you had to say one word to your fans out there, to the people out there right now, what would that be?
One word, enjoy. That would be my one word. Just enjoy everything. Expect nothing, enjoy everything.
Thank you so much for your lovely
All
time and
right.
all the very best. And I hope to get to see more of your content. And I really
All right.
love it. I've
Cool.
seen
Thanks
some
very
of
much.
them. I've seen some of them, and I've really loved it. And I would like to see more of it.
Come and see a whole show.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Excellent.
you.